Hey everybody, so I wanted to get on here today and talk about a couple of different things. I couldn't really decide what I wanted to title this video because it's like a whole bunch of stuff wrapped up into one. Like I want to talk about dedicating your crystals and setting your intentions for them. I want to talk about shadow work and how I use Snowflake Obsidian for that. I want to talk about losing your crystals and what that means, finding a crystal and what that means, but I'll kind of all just wrap it up into one little story of how I did all of this in one. So basically, last year I bought a Snowflake Obsidian. Now, I bought this back in, I don't know, probably like December of last year because I was going through a point where I blamed myself for a lot of the things that were happening in my life. And I blamed myself to a point where I was mad at myself for making those decisions and I couldn't find forgiveness in myself. So I bought this Snowflake Obsidian because it's a very good stone for that. So when you get your crystals, it's important to cleanse them, it's important to charge them, and it's important to set your intentions, dedicate them. So what I was doing with the Snowflake Obsidian is I was just setting an intention that, with this Snowflake Obsidian, I will have self-acceptance and forgive myself for past mistakes. That was it, not knowing that this Snowflake Obsidian has way more properties than that. Like, it has way more properties than just self forgiveness. So I didn't know that though, because I didn't dig that deep into the meaning of what this stone was. And that's all I felt I needed at that time, was to forgive myself. I didn't think I needed to do shadow work or dive really into the depths of who I was and why I made some of those decisions. I didn't know that. I didn't understand it. So I didn't set the intention for this. And when you set specific intentions for a stone, you may be missing out on the full benefits of that stone. And that is something that I learned in this book, which I'm really, really enjoying. Crystals for Energy Healing, a practical source book of 100 crystals by Ashley Levy. Like, I'm really learning a lot from this book. I would suggest, if you're into crystals or want to learn more about the healing aspects, the connecting aspects, the everything, this is a good book to get. But she talks about how, you can say your own personal intention, but you don't want to limit the potential of your crystal. So something that I used to do when I used to set intentions was I used to take out the properties that I wanted in that stone and put it into a little prayer. So when I would wake up in the morning, I would pray over my crystals, and that would be the intention. That's what I wanted to use them for. But when I started reading that book, I started doing the dedication that she suggests that you say in the book. So she has two different dedications. The first one is, I dedicate this crystal to serving the universal purpose. I promise to utilize it for the benefit of all living things, for I am a part of all that is. And then the second one is, I speak my gratitude for this crystal, which has been placed in my care. I consciously intend to use this stone with love and light for the highest good of all. So I really like the second one. So that's what I use most of the time now. But so when I read that, I decided I need to like dedicate all my crystals again, because I want to do it generally because I want to get the full benefit of my crystals. So I did that, and one stone that I did it with was my Snowflake Obsidian ring, my ring. So I would show you the ring, but I'll get to that later. So I did that dedication with my Snowflake Obsidian, not knowing that Snowflake Obsidian is one of the best stones for shadow work. What is shadow work? Shadow work, in my opinion, is uncovering the deepest, darkest parts of yourself. I mean, the deepest, darkest, and the not the good parts. We all have lightness. We all have dark, like light and dark, yin and yang. It's balance. We have both, and I suppressed my shadow self so much that it came about in my everyday behavior. And to try to elaborate on that, a part of my shadow self is, I would say, blame. I used to like to blame people for the repercussions of my own behavior. I projected my behavior onto other people and said, this happened because you're this way. I'm mad at you because you did this. You hurt me. And those were just all reflections of the inner me that needed healed. my shadow part that I decided that I didn't want to look at, because when you see your shadow side, when you see all of the things you did in life, the messed up things you did, you have to face it. You have to face it, and you have to work through it. And you can either blame yourself or beat yourself down for being like that, or you can send love to those areas, work through them, and heal yourself to get over that aspect of your life, and understand, this is my shadow self, but this is why I acted like this. These are the wounds that I didn't heal myself. And it helps you to understand your interactions with other people better. So I realized that we all have inner wounds and inner things that we're dealing with. And until we decide to face those, they'll fester up into other behaviors. They'll fester up into lying because you want to protect yourself, or being angry or being mean to people because you don't even know how to be nice to yourself, because you're angry at yourself. So you take that out on other people. And that's what shadow work is, and that's working through those things to heal them, to fix them, to come out better, to come out whole, to come out really understanding why you are the way you are, or why you did the things you did, and learning from them, and turning them into love, and sending that love back out into the universe. And that is what Snowflake Obsidian helped me do. And I wore the ring all the time, and I couldn't understand while all these feelings were coming up. I was really seeing everything that I did in my life. I was really seeing it from a new perspective and understanding, wow, Misha, you get mad at people because you can't control them in a certain aspect. And I knew I was a control freak, but I didn't know that I exhibited that same behavior when it came to people. Like, a part of my shadow side was when I couldn't control people, or not even control them, but when I couldn't have people do what I wanted them to do, or react to things the way I wanted them to react, I cut them off. I'd be angry, because it's like, well, what use are you in my life if you're not doing what I want you to do? And that was a deep, deep seated wound in my life. And that was something, it was like a clock, like a movie played in my head, and I saw all of the people I did that to. And I said, wow, now why did I do that? Where did this start? Where did this originate? And I uncovered all of that. And Snowflake Obsidian really brought those emotions to the surface. Now, the thing about crystals is, they say when you find a crystal, so you're just outside and you find a crystal on the ground, cleanse it and use it, because that means you need it right now. That means it needs you. That means you guys vibrated to each other, because for some reason that crystal needs to be in your life. So when you lose crystals, they say it's because either you weren't ready, or you've completed your time with it. And I went through that shadow work, and everything came to the surface, and I finally saw myself in a new light. And I went to put on my Snowflake Obsidian ring. I might have been going through this for like 2 weeks. And this is literally like the past 2 weeks. Like, this isn't something old. Like, this all is fresh. It's all just happened to me. But I went to go put on my Snowflake Obsidian ring, and it was gone. Like, it's literally gone. And I only take off my rings in 2 places. That's in the kitchen before I cook, and in my bedroom before I go to bed. And it's not in any one of those places. I looked all over my house, and it's gone. So I don't want to say like I've completed my shadow work, but this Snowflake Obsidian, it set its use in my life. It did its job, and I uncovered those parts about myself, and I exposed those parts of myself that needed healed, that now I can face, and now I can continue to work through them. So that's my experience with Snowflake Obsidian, my experience with shadow work, my experience with dedicating crystals, my experience with losing crystals, finding crystals. And yeah, I just wanted to get on here and say that. And I'm sorry if I was talking fast, but IGTV only lets you upload 10-minute videos, and I can go all day, but I want to get everything out on time. So, but if you do want to see longer videos, I'll probably be putting those on my YouTube channel, which is Misha Stinson. Name change soon to come. I just got to figure that all out. But thank you for watching, and I hope you all continue to have a blessed day. Bye.